Hi, my name's Dave Bakker. This is an instructional video on how to use my Hinge Jig. To use my Hinge Jig you need a little Laminex trimmer with a 6mm straight cutter bit and your guide collar in the bit. Once you've got your trimmer and your bit, to set the jig up, you mark the back of the hinge on the door like so. This is simply for setting up the jig. Place the jig over that. Now these two screws here and that one clamp the jig onto the door. You set these two parallel with that line, the edge, like so. Once you've got it parallel, you've got two lock nuts here, you lock them off. And the only one you wind in and out is that one, for the door and for the jamb. Once you've set the leaf width of the hinge, you then do the length of the hinge by following this formula. Base plate, my base plate's 90mm. I want to cut a 100mm hinge, the hinge is 100mm. So it's base plate plus 100 minus the bit. The bit is a 6mm straight cutter bit. That equals 184. Divided by 2 gives me 92mm. So I set this plate at 92mm. Like so, and this one at 92mm. Like so. Now the jig is ready to use. This plate here has got nothing to do with hinges. We'll just put that out the way for a minute. That's for face plates for locks. I'll show you how to do that later on. Now, once the jig is set up, it's ready to go. Now what I do is all my door jambs first. Now, the door jambs can be done in situ or on the bench, like I'm about to show you. All you do is wind that out. It'll go up to a 140 jam. Once we have the jig set up, we then mark the hinge position on the door jamb, 200 down. Line the mark up with the actual hinge size, which is 100mm. So I'll line it up with that mark. Tighten up that screw. And now it's ready to cut that rebate out in that jig. Start the trimmer, place it in the centre of the hole in your jig. Now once you've got that one cut, you unscrew the back screw again, slide it down and do your next ones, and so on. Once you've done all your jambs, you then take the jig off, place the jamb on the edge of the door, allow for your margin at the top of the door. Then you transfer a mark from the edge of the jamb, the rebate in the jamb, to the edge of the door. put across to make sure you cut out the right side. You do the bottom one, then you'd square that mark across the door, accurately, top and bottom. Place the jig over that mark, lining it up with the actual hinge size which we're going to cut, which is 100mm. So I line it up with that mark there. If I was doing 85mm, I'd line it up with that mark there, and so on. So I line it up with the 100mm mark. Clamp it up, and it's ready to go. I then change the depth of my cutter. Because we use a 6mm bit as a cutter, the radius is so tiny that we don't have to chisel it, we just bruise it in. And that's it. Once you've done all the jams on your saw stools, which is the easiest way to do it, you can do the jams in situ as long as your architraves aren't on. What you do is place the jig, mark your position where you want your hinge, place the jig over the jam, line it up with the hinge size that you're cutting, which is 100mm, which is that mark there. When you're doing the jams in situ, you've got to be aware to keep pressure on the jig through your trimmer to make sure it doesn't skip out. Place it in the centre. Once you've done the top one, you can then slide it down and do the middle one or the bottom one, and so on. Also what the jig does is face plates for locks with this attachment here. What you have to do is, for your very first one, mark the face plate, onto the door, place the jig over that, now you know that the trimmer cuts 2mm from that edge, so you line that up 2mm from that edge. Lock them off. Now this plate here is another stop which works on the back edge of your trimmer. Depending on your trimmer base plate size, you have to measure from your cutter to the edge of the base plate. And mine's 41mm. So from this mark you've put on the door to your stop, you measure 41mm. Once you've done that, it's ready to cut out the face plate. Now, because this is a mortise lock face plate, my jig will only cut 100mm max, so you mark the top of the face plate, you line that up with that mark there, and then you clamp that up, then you cut that half out. once you've cut one half out, you then slide it down, line it up with a 100mm mark, because you know it's going to cut exactly to that line. Clamp it up, and then cut the other half out.